Hello everyone. So in this tutorial I'm going to explain about how we are going to develop hospital management system. So for developing this project basically I am going to use simple core Java and basic functionalities of it, like how we are going to take inputs using the core Java from the console. So and then use of like while loop, switch case, if else. So those kind of like feature I'm going to use for developing this kind of project. And also for as you know, like for this project basically I'm going to explain few functionalities of it, like how we are going to add the patients, then how we are going to add the doctors, view patients, view doctors, and the book appointment. Okay, so for adding those details into the database, or maybe that we can store in our local session, particular session, like maybe into the array list or maybe some array we can store the data. But for storing the data permanently we need to keep we need to create one tables for those related respective, like for example if we want to add some patients, then we need to create the patients as you can see over here. If we want to add the doctors, then the data will be saved into the doctors table. Then if we want to view the patients, like means whatever the available patients over there, then we need to view. So for that basically we need to do some queries for fetching the data from the patients table. So first of all we need to, while adding, then we need to do insert those tables, and for view we need to fetch the details from the particular respective table. So that means here basically we need to do some kind of the database connectivity. With that also we need to do some kind of database operations, like how we are going to insert the data into the database. Before that also we need to create the database first, right? Create the database, and also we need to create those tables if there are some relations with that. So I'll talk about later, like how we are going to create the table, what is the relation between those tables. So those also, how we are going to add the primary key, foreign key. So those things I will come in the later part of this one. And once we are available, means we are giving these functionalities like view doctor, so it will fetch the data from respective tables. And for the appointment, book the appointment, it will uh, we need to take some inputs, like for which patients we need to give the appointment, for which doctor is available or not. So those kind of checking would be there, and once all the things validations are passed, then we can save the data into the appointment table. Okay, so that we can track like what how appointments how many appointments for a day, or how we are going to in future if we want to display or want to like those appointment details, then maybe from the appointment table we can display those details. So this is the kind of overall things how we are going to and what functionalities basically we are going to give into this hospital management system. This is a very simple project going to be. So each and every step is very important, so don't skip anything, so it will be better to understanding. And also I'll write the code for this one, and so that you guys can understand from the basic part. And also I will show you like how I'm going to create the database, how you are going to create the tables, how you are going to mapping those things. So let me show you the table structure for this. So basically for doing this functionalities, basically you need three tables. One is the patients, doctors, and the appointment. In the patients table, basically you need to keep the patients information over here. Like as you can see over here, this is the patients, then doctors, and the appointment. So in the patients table basically having the ID. So basically this ID having the auto increment means we don't need to manually insert data for this one. Once we will insert the data into this particular table, it will automatically generated by the backend, means by the database, and it will insert it over here. In the patient table we are storing like name, age, and the gender. For doctors also ID is the same, it's the auto increment ID, and name and department we are also capturing. In the appointment table, as you can see, id is the this id is the primary key. Okay, this id is the primary key, and this p underscore id for the I kept as a shortcut, but it's a parent patient's id, and this is the doctor's id. So this id we kept over here just to saying like for which patients and which doctor is appointment is done. So these are the basically, these are already key of this table. So these tables are this key are behaving as a foreign key of this particular table. So I'll show you like how we are going to create the table and how we are going to mapping those things. Okay, so let me show you the database part next, like how we are going to uh, create the table and create those foreign key and etc. So as database, I'm going to use the MySQL, but any database can be used. There is no limitations. Only we need to follow some steps, like there is a driver basically we need to use for managing the transactions. So over here I'm using the MySQL. So first of all we need to create the table, right? So how you are going to create the table? So for creating the, first of all we need to create the patients. Then here is the ID. You can see it's a medium int 8 and it's a not null and it's auto increment. The auto increment means it will automatically, whenever we are inserting data, we don't need to pass this value. It will auto generated by the database and it will store into the data, means in a table. So only we need to store this particular data. So name, age and gender. And this, as you can see, this is the way we can means say it's a primary key. This ID, it's a primary key. That also we need to define. So let's create this one. This table is created successfully. Next we need to create the doctor. In similar fashion we need to create this another table, the doctors. Here also you can see ID is the medium int, not null, auto increment, and these are the two another field like name and department, and primary key is the ID is the primary key. Create this table. Next is the, you can see the create, it's a one success, zero errors and zero rows affected. Next is the appointment table. So here basically what as I discussed earlier, the appointment table having the referencing the parents, patients and the doctor, these two tables. Okay, so we need to create the foreign key. So how we are going to create this one, like appointment table, then here's the ID, this is the not null and auto increment, this is the like primary key. As you can see over here, this is the primary key, and then patient's ID and the doctor ID. So here basically the type also should be same as from the like uh, parents table basically it's having. Okay, this is the date field here, basically we are keeping that as a date. Okay, primary key, and this is the foreign key. Basically in this way basically we are defining. So this is the foreign key, and then we need to define this, which ID basically we are defining as a foreign key. This is the ID, and from where it is taking the references, it is taking the references from the patients, and which field, this is the ID, and same for the doctor. So once we define this one, then we can create this particular table. Let me create this one. You can see it's a success. Okay, I will provide this kind of schema in the description section, so from there you guys can create in your local machine. Let me refresh this one. So as you can see, appointment tables, doctor and the patients, these three tables are got created. So now if we select the data from over here, like from these three tables, like let me open this one. So as you can see, there is no data currently because we have created only now. Now what next we need to do? So the database part is also clear. So next basically, so this is the basically schema name, this training, this is the basically schema name. So while you are creating the connection between this database and the MySQL, then particular this schema name we need to define. So I'll show you like how you're going to create the connection, even though I in my last tutorial already I explained like how we are going to create the connection. So maybe you guys can go through this tutorial. So I'll again like I'll share that particular link in the description section, so that from there you guys can get the link and you guys can easily go to the that tutorial, so that you guys can understand like how we are going to create the database connection. So next we are going to create the basic example like coding. Basically I'll write the code so that we can access those menus after if all the things fine, and then we can add the patients, add doctors, and also we'll try to do some book the appointment. So let's see like how it is look like. Let me create the code first. So for writing the Java code basically, any editor can be used like Eclipse or maybe IntelliJ. So for me actually I have used the Eclipse. You guys can use any editor. Okay, so let me create one project over here, new as Java project, as we are going to using the only core Java kind of thing. So we don't need to use Spring Boot and all those things. So only basic Java project is needed for this. So I'm creating this one, hospital management. Okay, so let me create package first, new package dot HMS, hospital management system. Okay, module info I can delete, it's not needed. Okay, so first of all, what actually basically we are going to do, we are going to create the connection, and then we will give the menus for adding those like as I was showing in my presentation, like adding the patients, adding the like doctors, and then book appointment. So those menus we will give, and based on the choice, like whatever the user will choose or choose the options, based on that it will perform that particular operation. So let me create one class first. Hospital management. Okay. Okay. So let me create the first of all, as you know, for the core job, basically the main method is the entry point. So over here, actually, the main method is the main thing. This is the main entry point. So over here, like actually, so for that, actually, we need to create the main method over here. So as you know, for taking the input, like whenever we are trying to add any details into the means we need to take some details from the console while user put some input. So for taking the input from the console, basically we need something. So what is this? So there's a two approach. There is one scanner class, which is basically belongs to the util package. Another one is the buffer reader. So either we can use the scanner class for taking the input from the user, or else we can use the buffer reader. So I'm using the scanner for like taking the input from the like user. Okay, new scanner, and this is the way basically, and here we can give system.in. So in this way basically we can take the input from the user. Okay, means sc dot next int. I'll show you like how it is working, and we can also close the scanner once this is done. So next basically we're going to create the connection. So how we are going to create the connection? So over here I already shown you like how we are going to create the connection. So basically also we need to use the MySQL connector, because here as a database we are going to use this one. So let me create one folder over here for keeping the library related things, and copy, and let me paste over here. Okay, so you can keep this one. Okay, now basically we need to create the database connection. So how we are going to create the database connection? So this is the class, basically database service. From over here we can create the connection. Like we need to provide this driver name, like as we are using the MySQL, so for this is the driver name, and then we need to use the URL. This is the URL, like this is the as I shown over here. Like this is the training is the like schema name, and this is the username, and this is the password. These things we need to provide over here. So once it's done, then you can say database connection created successfully. So you can use the same class over here, database service. So let me reuse this class for creating the connection. So I copy this same class over here. Okay, so I think it's clear, right? First of all we need to load the driver, and then we need to provide the URL for connecting the database, and this is the localhost, and this is the port of the MySQL. Means in this port basically the basically MySQL is running in this port. Okay, so database related thing is done now. So next we need to create the connection first, means use the connection basically over here, and this particular connection we need to like uh, we need to while we're inserting or updating or fetching the data, this particular connection we are going to use. Okay, so let's use the try with resource. You know concept of try with resource. Try with resource, what is it will do? Whatever the resource basically we are going to use over here, it will be automatically closed. We don't need to manually like I'll show you. Connection equals to database service dot get connection. Okay, it will throw some. Okay, so if we are not using the try with the resource, suppose we have declared this one outside of this try block, then manually inside of the catch or maybe in the finally basically we need to close the connection. But if we are going to use a try with resource, then we don't need to manually close the connection inside of the finally block. It will automatically taken care of by this try with resource. So this is the concept of try with resource. Okay, next we need to like first of all we need to create the things for patients basically. Okay, so here we can create one while loop, And here what we can do, we can give the menu options. Okay, like we can say hospital management system. Next we can say first options for add patient, so we can give the options for adding the patients. Next, for adding the doctor. Okay, next for view patients, or maybe yes, we can add and doctor. Adding is done. Now view, then view doctors. Next we can say for appointment, book the appointment, right? Next we can say for exit, like if we don't want to do anything, then we can say it's a exit. Okay, after that whenever we are giving this all the things, then we can say we can ask the user for enter the choice, right? Means whatever the user giving the choice, like maybe 1 2 3 4, so that particular input also we need to take from the user. So how we are going to take this one? For that, integer choice equals to, using the scanner, sc dot next, as it is a integer kind of input, so that's why there is option next int. Okay, so this is the basically choice is done by the user. Now how you are going to like check like what choice user is done, based on that we need to call that particular method, right? So here basically either we can use the if else block or switch case. So let me use the switch case. Switch, here basically we can say choice, if it is a case, if it is a 1, if it is a 1, then we can do some operations over here, right? Like maybe we can call add patients. Okay, next case 2, and here basically we can say break. Okay, here we can do add doctor. So that method we are going to write, and then we can say break. Even we don't need this. Okay, next case 3. So here basically we are going to like view patients and then break. Case 4, here basically case 4 view doctor. Okay, 5 view patients, it will be a view patients, view doctor, then 5 means book appointment. Okay, book appointment, and 6 is the final one. 6 for exit, right? Here from here basically we can exit, right? So we can do return, and also we can close the scanner. Okay, and okay, here actually typo, 6 means exit. Okay, so these are the done now, and for default basically we don't need to throw anything. Like we can say please enter valid choice, please enter valid choice. Okay, and over here like we can say break. Okay, now we need to do this operations or do this. Okay, it will be not unreachable code. Okay, so here basically we need to create one patients class. Over there we need to do those operations like adding view and add view and yeah, these two operations also, these are the things. So let me create one patients class over here. Patient. Okay, so first of all, in a constructor basically we can in the constructor basically we can initialize the connection, right? So this particular connection we can provide from the main class. Private connection con. Okay, and here we can define the same thing in the constructor. We can delete this one, and here we can initialize this dot con equals to con. Okay, so I will show you how this data will be passed over here and how we are assigning this one, right? So next we are going to adding the patient. So add patient. Okay, so here basically we need to ask some information from the who is adding this patient. So like enter the patient name, right? So we need to use some sysout. So how you're going to take the input? So for that also we need to use some scanner over here. Okay, scanner equals to, because for taking the input we are using the scanner system.in. Okay, now here basically we need to take the name using the, as you can see over here, for this string input we can use the next sc.next. Next we can ask for the like patient age, and as you can see the age would be a integer number, so that's why we can say scanner dot next int, right? Yeah, it will be sc. Okay, so after getting the age we can ask for the gender. Okay, so as gender is a kind of string, so you can use the next. So once these input are taken from the user, like user can give the input over here. So we have the name, age and gender. This three information we are having for storing the data into the patient table. So now we need to write one query for inserting data into this particular table. So how we are going to, what will be the query? Like insert into table name. So what is the table name? Patients. Okay, here we are going to define the attribute name, age and gender, right? And then finally we need to provide the values. So how we are going to provide the values? For this we need to mark as a question mark. Okay, then we can use the pipette statement. Over here also we can use the try with resource. Pipette statement ps equals to connection dot pipette statement, and here we need to pass this SQL. Okay, what it is saying, it will throw, maybe, yeah, it will throw the exception. Then ps dot set string, so 1, and then here basically we need to pass this name, right? Next, not the n, set string, yeah. Second, actually it's an integer, so set int, it will be a 2 index and then age dot set string 3, and then here name, age and gender. So these are the three fields we have taken and these are the inserted. Now we can execute those statements, like execute ps dot pp statement dot execute update we can use, or execute. Okay, you can see this execute also, like we can use over here, and it will return the boolean. So that means if it is a true, so you can put some condition over here, like if it is a true, then we can say details added successfully into database. Patient's details added successfully. Okay, else we can say failed to add, failed to add patient details, failed to add patient details. Okay, so now this is the way, like for adding the patient details into the database. So this is the SQL. Using the pp statement we can use the insert the data basically, and here you can see pp statement for setting the string we are using the string. If it is the int, then we need to use the int. If it is a double, so there is a double variable also over there. So there is some methods over there. Based on that we can choose what kind of data type it is, and based on that we can map it over here. So this is for the view. Next, if we want to view the details, so for that what we need to do, we need to like fetch the data from the particular database. So let me create another method over here, public void view patient. Okay, so now over here, like we need to use this, first of all we need to write the query equals to select select star from patient. So either you can use the select star from, or maybe particular field like select name, age and gender. This is also can be happened, but we have used the select star, means it will fetch all the fields from the database. If we want to select particular special or maybe customization kind of fields, then also we can define over here using the comma separator. That also possible. Next, basically we need to use the try with resource using the same, like this one, so that we don't need to close this prepare statement manually. It will automatically closed once the operation is done. It will throw the exception. Okay, next basically once it will done, then it will return the like result set. Okay, so again for result set means again it will this one result set. Using this we can face whatever the data is over there, that we can get using the result set. ps dot execute query. Okay, so this is also we have used the try with resource because we need to close the result set for each operations. As we are having the try with resource, so we don't need to manually close these things. It will be automatically closed after the operations. Okay, so we can patient details, for example, we need to use this patient details, and here basically we can like we need to use the while loop. Why it is a while loop? Because maybe multiple details over there, right? So while rs dot next means until or unless we need using this rs dot next, basically you can check is there any data is available. Until data is there, it will print the data, right? So we need to id, name, age and gender, right? These three we need to fill. So how we are going to fetch the data from over there, like result set okay, this id result set, as it is a int, so that's why it's a int, get int. Is the name, it's a string, so that's why it's stuck string. Age is a integer number, so we have used as a integer. And then and gender also a string. So now we can print the data. Patient ID, 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 then we can print the name, then age, and then gender. Okay, here also you can change ID, then name, then age, then gender. Okay, so this is for the view. Okay, now if we want to fetch data for particular patient ID, how we are going to do that? So for that we can write another things like public void, for example, then get patient by ID. Here first of all we need to write the query. So what will be the query? Equals to select. Here basically, as we just only check like if this particular patient is available or not, so instead of star means it will fetch all the details, so it will down the performance of the SQL. So instead of that, what we can do, we can use the count or 1, then from patients, where we need to use the where, it is for the condition where ID equals to whatever ID we will get from the as a input. Like here we need to pass this ID, int ID. Okay, now we need to use the pipette statement over here again. You can copy it from over here, and then we need to pass this ps dot set int 1 and then ID. We need to throw the exception over here. Either we can throw or we can also handle using the try and catch block, that also possible. Over here we can use the result set, so let me copy it from over here. Okay, so if like there is any data, then you can say it will, that means this particular ID is available. If it is false, then you can say it's not available. So how are you going to do dot next, means if it is true, that means data is available. If it is false, that means data is not available, right? So this is the done. Okay, okay, so this is for this patients class. Now we are going to create the similar kind of thing for doctor, right? Because for the doctor also we need to add the doctor, then view the doctor. So the similar kind of thing will be done over in the doctor class also. So let me add the class for doctor. New class doctor. Okay, so I will use the same code. So let me copy these things. I will copy these things, hold the things, and I will just modify the code over here. Okay, instead of this it will be a doctor. Okay, next instead of this it will be a add doctor, and over here for doctor basically the input is changed. Like here instead of patient it will be a doctor name, and then we can say int is not required, we can say department, right? We can say department. So department we have taken. Now basically we need to insert data into the doctors, right? So instead of this we need to use the doctors, insert into doctors, and here we need to use the name and department. Instead of the other, we need to use the name and department. So age and gender is not required, here department. You can also like let consider one thing, we are not inserting the ID, right? In the table if you see, like we are having the ID field, so we are not actually inserting the ID because it's the auto increment ID. It will be when we are inserting data into this particular table, it will be auto generated, right? And here int and 2, and this is basically department, right? department. So same thing will be done over here. Once it's success boolean, that means doctor added successfully or failed to add doctor. Okay. Okay, for view, select star from doctors instead of these patients. Here we can say print doctor details. Rest are the same. Here basically we can take the ID and then name and then department, right? Age is not required. Here instead of that you can say department. Doctor's ID, doctor ID, doctor name and doctor department. Department. Okay. And here we can print department basically instead of this one, right? So this is for the view, correct? I think it's clear. And for get doctors by ID, and this is from the doctors table. This one ID is this. If it is available, then it will return boolean true, else it is not, right? So doctor class is also done now. Because it's a similar, so I copied the same thing and only modify the which are the required things. Like instead of patient, we need to insert into the doctor details, select from the doctors, and also select over here. So accordingly, also fields are changed over here, little bit of. Okay. So now here basically we can't here we need to create the patients and doctor object over here. So how we are going to create those things? Let me create those one. Equals to new, and here basically we need to pass the connection, right? This connection and this connection. Similar for doctor also. Equals to new doctor. Here also we need to pass the same connection. Okay. Now here for adding this one we need to dot add patient, right? Similar for doctor, like doctor dot add doctor. For view, already we have created the method for patient dot view patients. For doctor also we have the similar method. Okay, let me check the method name. Okay, instead of this it will be a view doctor. Okay, so we need to modify over here this one. For the book appointment, still we have not created this one, so I will create. First of all so these are the done now. So we can first of all we need to check like is these are working fine or not, right? We can check this one. So we can run this one. Let me run. It's saying this, okay, JDBC driver is not available, so we need to add into our build path. Here in the class path basically we need to add this jar. From here we can choose this one, we can close. Okay, so that means we have added into our class path, then it will work. You can see the connection created successfully, right? It means the database connectivity is done now. So first of all we need to, like, now if we select the data for view, like 3 means view patients, so let me select option the 3. So as there is a no details available, so it's going to say like patient's details not available. Let me put some message over here for view. Means we can put something over here, like if the details are not available, then we can say not. So we need to first insert the data, right? So let me add patients first. Name, for example, test. Age, for example, 50. Gender, male. Okay. Okay, unknown column, gender. Okay, let me modify. As you can see over here, maybe there is some typo, so let us check here. You can see while it's trying to execute, then it's throwing the exception. Okay, it will be typo, so this field should be there. Okay, so let me rerun this project again, Java application, and here we are. Now we need to adding the patients, test, age 50, gender male. You can failed to add. Okay, let us check what is the reason. Means it's not success, but why it is not success? Instead of this, maybe it will be we need to use the execute update. Yeah, and here basically we can check if it is a greater than 0, then it's a success, else it's failed. Okay, similar thing we need to use it over here also. Execute update, execute update. If it is a greater than 0, okay, we can close it using 6. Okay, next we need to again rerun this one. Okay, choice as 1, test, then 50, then male. Patient details are successfully. Now if we check the database here, you can see, yeah, data over here, right? Correct? Okay. Actually execute also worked basically, but that was not written like true instead of insert. That's why it was we are getting the failed, but execute update actually return us like how many record actually inserted. Suppose we have inserted multiple records, so it will give us the number of rows inserted over there. Okay, now if you want to add the like doctor, so enter choice as 2, doctor name, D1, department, D2. You can say doctor's details added successfully, right? So you can also check from over here D1 and D2, right? So now we can also view, like for view patients we need to choice as 3. You can see patient details 1, this, and this is the ID is 2. This is means this is not actually means we can format this one as tabular, means kind of tabular format, so that we can view it properly. But I didn't do that. We can do it, but it will take some time, so that's why I didn't do that. And for if you want to view the like doctors, so for that we need to choose option as 4. Here as 4, and we can see the details. Okay, now next functionalities we can do for the book appointment, right? We can close this one. So for book appointment we can like we need to, first of all we need to give the like patient ID, like which patient is basically need to take the input, and then like which doctor. So for that we also need the doctor ID and the date. Okay, so as you can see over here, the appointment table having 3 fields: the patient ID, doctor ID, and the appointment date. So based on this one, first of all we can check like this particular whatever the ID that user is providing or anyone is providing, this is existing into our database or not. Same for the doctor ID. If those are not available, then we can say like those are not exist into our database, so please provide valid data, valid ID. Next we can check this particular doctor ID. Once it is available, then we can check like this doctor is available or not. So how we can check this one? We can check with this date, with this doctor ID, with this particular patient. If it is exist, then we can say it's not available. If it is not, then we can book the appointment for this one, right? I think it's clear. So let's write the code for this one. New class like book appointment. Okay, So here basically what we need the patient ID as input, then we need to like use the doctor ID and date also, like so public void book appointment. Okay, so here, yes, so now we can ask for the user for providing the details like patient ID. So how you are going to take this one, as it is a int, so from the scanner we need to use this one. So for that we need to use the scanner over here, scanner equals to new scanner system dot in. Okay, so here we can ask for the user like patient ID, then we can ask for like doctor ID, then we can take input from the user using the scanner. Okay, next we can ask user for enter the appointment date, like that date can be in some format, so that also we can mention like in which format basically they need to provide, like mmdd, this format we need they take the input, that also we can provide over here, and then we can take the input as string. Okay, so once we take the input like patient ID, doctor ID, and the like appointment date, then like also we need to like in the constructor basically we need to define, as we have defined for the patient over connection, in similar kind of thing we need to define over here. So we need to define one constructor over here, and here we need to take the three inputs like patient doctor connection like this, and in the constructor basically we need to pass these three parameter over here. Let me show you in this way, and in the constructor we need to assign or initialize those variables. Okay, now here first of all we need to check if uh, dot get patient details by ID. So here basically we need to pass this patient ID. If this basically ID is available then is fine, but if it is not available, right, then we can say please provide valid patient ID. Okay, and from here we can return. Similar kind of thing we can check for the doctor also. If doctor get doctors by ID. Okay, and here we need to give this doctor ID. If it is not available, then we can say please provide valid doctor ID, and we can return from over here. So next basically we can check the doctor is available or not. So for that we can create one method over here like public boolean check availability. Okay, so here basically what we need to pass, we need to pass connection, then doctor ID, and then appointment date. Based on that we can check the connectivity. So for that we need to use the query equals to select count one from appointments where doctor ID and date. Okay, where doctor ID and date this. So we can use the like pp statement over here. As you know, like we have used the pp statement over here, and this is the query, and using this, like as it is the first one is the int, like for this doctor ID, so this is the int number and this is the string. Okay, next basically we need to use some result set for checking the data, like if data is there or not. if result set dot next means data is there, then we need to check, that means data is over there. So like if like the count is 0, that also you can check, like if data is there or not. If count is like whatever the count over there, if count is 0, that means it's available, right? If not, then we can say not available. Then we can check, like over here we can return from over here, return rs dot get int 1 equals to 0. That means if it is a 0, means data is not there, right? That means it's available, else it will false. Okay, so we can use next if it is not available actually, then we can say doctor not available. Doctor not available. Okay, and we can return from over here. Okay, so next, if doctor is available, then we can write the SQL query for inserting the data into the appointment. Then we can book the appointment. How we are going to do that? Like insert into table name, right? And these are the fields basically. Insert into table name, these are the fields, values, 3 question mark. Okay, so next we need to use this prepare statement. Okay, and here basically we need to use this patient ID. This is the patient ID, doctor ID, right? So first one is the patient ID, second one is doctor ID, and the third one is appointment date, right? So if it is greater than 0, like we need to use the execute update, as you can see over here. If it is greater than 0, then we can say appointment booked successfully, appointment booked successfully, else not, else not booked, appointment not booked. Okay, so this is the for code for this checking the or book the appointment. So let me call this one from over here. So for that we need to create this class book appointment equals to new connection patient doctor. Okay, now using this object, basically this is the object we have created over here. Using this object basically dot book appointment, right? Okay, let me run this one. So already like as you can see over here, doctors and patients are available over here, right? Only what we can do, only we need to just check the book appointment. So we can choose the 5. We can provide the ID as 1, then doctor ID as 1, and appointment date. So for example, date is 2024 slash 02 slash 21. Okay, appointment booked successfully. So that means we can get some data in the appointment details table right over here. Now suppose if we choose again for with 5. Now suppose we have provided one ID which is not available into the database. Okay, so for example date is 2024, then 3, then 5. Okay, cannot add or update this constant. Okay, but it should not, because it should be written from over there. Why it is over here? Okay, let me check. Let me use. Okay, I think the issue is over here because this is always come as true. So here basically we need to write some logic, like we need to modify the logic, something like this. If it is true, then we need to like check this one condition. Okay, so let me update this one over here. If this is true, then only this it will return the true, else false. Okay, similar we need to, if it is greater than 1 or greater than 0, then only it will return as true. That means patient is available, else not, right? So we need to update something over here. Similar for this one also. Here, yes, and else false. Okay, so let me rerun this one. 5 7 7 2024 3 3. Yes, please provide valid patient ID, right? So in this way, basically we can check like this is the option, because it will always come as true. In this scenario, if it is not found, then this count will come as 0. So that's why basically it was not returning anything. It means returning as true. Okay, so that's why it was not working. Now it is working fine. So in this way, basically we can check like these are the options. So just to summarize, like what we have learned today, like we have given different types of options for whatever the basically those functions are basically used for hospital management kind of projects, like adding the patients, add the doctor, then book the appointment, view the details of view details of doctor, view the details of like patients. So here basically we can do lot of things. So I'm just giving some just overview over here, like how we can do those things in a simple way, and also like how we are going to connecting with the database, how we are going to use the different types of feature of databases using the plain JDBC, how we are going to use the result set, how we are going to use the prepare statement. So those kind of things I have given over here, just overview kind of thing you can say. So if you guys have anything, please do let me know in the comment section. um, and also like over here we can provide the information how we are like do the database connectivity, how we can check like data is over there or not, how we can create the database table, and how we are adding the foreign keys into the existing table. All those things, lot of things over there actually basically. So that's all actually about this project. You guys have anything, please do let me know, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Bye bye.